Okay, so before actually we take up a new topic, I have one more sheet here. I have another window where I have a big data sheet. You can see it's some records of some orders. Okay, so this is my shipping orders. There are many records. You can see this. Right. So what I'll do is I'll copy this sheet, which is orders sheet, and put it in the sheet in the workbook where we are actually practicing. So to do that, I'll right click on the sheet here down on the name and click on move or copy. Okay, I get a dialog window like this. When I'll create on, because I don't want to move this whole sheet in a different workbook. I want to keep it here as well. So I'll create a copy. So I'll check this checkbox. And now I'll move it to another one. So this is my first session 2021 Excel file. So I'll click on this and I want to move it at the end. Okay, so I want to create a copy of this orders sheet and put it in the other workbook. So I'll click on OK. Now you can see this sheet has been copied here. Plus that original sheet is still here. Okay, so I don't need this now anymore, but I'll use this for some example. Fine. Now coming to the page layout, last time we saw some page layout setups, then print options and so on. There are a few more things which I would like to show you. Okay. Now, if suppose I want to print this particular sheet, when I go to the print preview, so when I go here, you can see there are around 105 pages and you can go to each of them like this. Okay. I'm not going to show you how to set the print setup, the landscape, all that we have already seen. Okay. There are a few things which need to be shown here from this page layout tab. You will find that we also have print area, we have page breaks, we have background and print titles option. Print titles option, we have already seen it, but through a different menu setup. That is to the page setup dialog window, we have seen it. But let us enter a page break here. Okay, let us say I want to have a page break after the 20th row. Okay, so here I want to give a break here. So this should be the last record on my page. So what I'll do is I'll select the row number 21. Okay, come here, click on this drop down button and say insert page break. Okay, now I have inserted a page break. You can see there is a gray line which is coming here. Now when I go to my print preview, okay, you can see this, the rest of the records are not shown. Okay, now when I go to the next page, definitely all the files, all the records as per the original page break will be there. Okay, so if you want, you can also insert page break on your own manually. Okay, it won't be dependent on the the borders, that is your margins. So that is not involved. So whenever you want to give a page break, if you feel that I want some contents to be on one page and the rest of the content on the second page or the other pages, then you can always give a page break. Now, if suppose the work is over and you feel now I do not require this page break anymore, then again, that is the same procedure you can do. You can select this row here again, go back, and you can remove the page break from here. Okay, there's another way of doing it. You can reset all page breaks. Let us say you have put lots of page breaks in your file, and because as you can see, there are so many records here and so many 110 or 105 pages to be printed. Now removing page break from each row, going to each page break and removing it will not be feasible. Okay, so you have a better option which will remove all the page breaks. You can click on this button and just click on reset all page breaks. This will also help me. So I click on this, and now when I go back, you'll find the page break has been removed and the original page break which were there, depending on the page layout and your margins, you can see the data. Okay, so this was one thing I wanted to show you. The second thing is, if suppose I don't want to print everything, let us say I'll select only some few cells like this. I want to print only this much. So if you want, you can go and in the print option, we have an option of selection, but there's one more option which can be used from here. That is your print area. Okay, so I can set the print area. Okay, once this is set, I can go to the print preview. You can see print. I press Control P. That is my shortcut from the keyboard. Okay, and the one which I had selected, only that much will be visible here. Okay, and you can see this number of pages. I have only one page now. Why? Because I have selected, I have set the print area which I want to print. Okay, so you can also do this, setting the print area and selecting the ones which you want to print and only print that much. Okay, even that is possible. You can also clear the print area. So you can come here and clear print area. It removes all the print area. You can see that there was a border here which is gone now. Now background is nothing. I don't think so you'll require the backgrounds and so on. You are not going to work that much with background, but just to show you, if you click on this, you can get some picture as a background. Let us say from file, I have some images here. So let me put some random image. Now these are very personal images out here. Let me put this one. I click on insert and you can put a image like this. Okay, but I don't think so you'll be using this much. Okay, but if you feel you want to give a presentation and you want to make it very attractive, or you have some logo or some picture of your institute or might be the organization where you're working, you can make use of that. Okay, and whenever you want to remove it, you just click on this delete background, it goes off. Okay, that is one thing. And we have already seen this print titles. If you remember this, you can repeat the rows and the columns for the print. So this is nothing but the print title. Last time we saw it in the page setup. Okay, so that's all about your page layout. And I want you all to go through it whenever you have time, whenever you're practicing. And if you have any doubt, you can always come back to me. Okay, the next thing which I would like to show you is the view tab. So we come to the menu option view here. Okay, now because if you look at this data, when I scroll down, even my top headings are getting scrolled down. I do not know what this column is, and then I cannot refer it. I need to check which my column is and all. So I have to go back here again, check which is my state, this and so on. There are so many column headings, okay, especially when we are referring to the figures, we scroll down here down and we forget what is the sell price, what is the cost, or what was the other rates and so on. Okay, so what we can do is we can fix the rows and the columns as per my requirement. Okay, that is known as your pans. Okay, so there's an option. If you look at this under view, we have an option called freeze pans. Okay, now if I want to freeze only the top, let us say 3 rows, because I want to see this column headings as well. What I can do is place my cursor on the cell A4, okay, and click on freeze pan. So you have an option here. You can see there are 3 options available. Either I can freeze the top row, the first column, and so on. Let us use the first option, freeze pan. I click on this, and now when I'm going down, I'm scrolling down here. You can see this, the first 3 rows, okay, have got freezed. Okay, why it freezed? Because my focus when I was on the 4th row under A. Okay, but now if I go on across the columns, my first column is not freezed. Now, what if I want to know my order number as well? Okay, so I want to know the order number and I want even the column heading to be fixed so that I can refer to it. Okay, so what you can do is, let me remove the freeze first. So I'll click on this, unfreeze it. Okay, so the freezing has gone. I'll place my cursor under B in row number 4. So here B4 is where I'll keep my cursor. I'll focus on that cell. Now I'll go to freeze pans and click on the first option here. So it is going to keep the rows and the columns visible when I'm scrolling down or across. Okay, so I click on this. Now when I scroll down, you can see the first 3 rows are fixed. What about if I scroll across? Now you can see my order number is also fixed. Clear? So this is how you can, freeze your pans, especially your rows and columns, which you would like to see when you are having lots of records. So in this case, it is the perfect example where we have so many columns and so many rows. Okay, so you need to do that, and it is very helpful as well. Okay, so let me go back and unfreeze everything. So I click on this and unfreeze it. Okay, freezing the row and the column is very simple. It will just freeze the top row. Okay, I can click on this, but that is not going to help me because I have only the title there. You can see the first row is freezed. Similarly, I can also freeze the first column as well. Okay, let me remove this, unfreeze. So unfreeze the pans, and if I want to freeze only the column, I can freeze the first column. And now when I go across the columns, you can see my first column is fixed. Clear? And it's a very important and very useful feature. And you'll be, I think, a majority of you will be using someday or the other, especially when you're working in organizations which has lots of data which is provided to you, and you have to do some analysis of the data. In that case, it will be very useful. Okay. Secondly, we have already seen zoom, or let us say I want to zoom this part. Let us see I'm here somewhere, and if I want to zoom it up, so zoom to selection, I can click on this and you can see it is zooming, and the thing or the focus which I was on, say row number 19 and under D, that gets focused. Okay, and it getting zoomed. You can change back to 100% from here. Secondly, you have the headings. If you don't want the headings, you can remove it. Sometimes what happens, you get a worksheet which is not showing you any headings and all, and you get confused where to get the row number and the column numbers. Okay, so basically remember, under view, you have to go here and just select this checkbox to view the rows and the columns headings. Okay, the grid lines we have already shown you. Then this is your formula bar. So if you don't want this, you can just click on this and it removes your formula bar. If suppose you are not requiring it regularly, you can just remove it. And whenever you require it, you can just click on this checkbox so that you can get your formula bar back. Okay. You can also split the window. This is my window here. If suppose I want to split this window into 2, okay, you can do that. So you click on this split option. You can see this has been slipped because my focus was here. It has been into 4 quarters, I think. This is my first one, second one, this is the third one, and the fourth one. Now, if I scroll down here, the rest of the thing you can see it's moving here. Now, when I come here and I scroll across, you can see this one moving. Okay. Similarly, you can do it here. Fine. Come down, is moving. So it is the window, the actual one window has been split into 4. Okay, if you want to split into, say, unsplit this, I remove the split. Okay, let us go back here. I select this one row and then click on split. Now what happens? It is splitting only this into 2 halves. So this is my first part here on top. I can scroll here and I can move here as well. So I can view the same file in 2 different windows. Okay, the same window, and you can work on this. Okay, so if you require this, you can do this, unsplit this. Okay, you can hide the sheet window as well, but I don't know why you want to hide it, but there is a facility available. This is hiding it, it goes off. Okay, go to view, you can unhide it. This is the sheet, I click on OK, it comes back. Okay, now this was the window, that was the other window, mind you. So if I want to say hide this, let us say hide this. So I click on hide, it goes off. Unhide, it comes back. Okay, so this is my window. But hiding and all, I think you won't be using it that frequently. Fine. You can, if suppose you have multiple workbooks and you want to work simultaneously on it. Say you have, because I have one more workbook which is open here, and let us say you want to refer to that workbook and you want to note down something. You can do that. You can have an option like view side by side. Okay, you have an option here. So you click on this. You can see this. Now this is my other window and there's something else. Okay, this. So I can go to sales figure. This is the accounts. Whereas in this I can refer to the other sheets like this. Okay. So my both the workbooks are viewed simultaneously, side by side. If you want to scroll here, you can see if I'm scrolling here, it is also scrolling down here because I have clicked on this synchronized scrolling. Okay, so you remove this one. Now when I scroll this, the other window is not scrolling. So it is not scrolling here. Okay, I can go it individually here. Okay, and if you want to synchronize scrolling, then you can select, let us say I am here and I want to refer to both of them simultaneously. So I click on this synchronized scrolling. And now when I click, you can see here it is not selected. Select on this and it will be now synchronized. Okay. So all this stuff, it's very helpful whenever you're working with multiple workbooks. Okay, let me remove this. I come back here. Okay, fine, it's gone. I remove this view side by side as well. And what else we have? We have arrange all is going to just arrange all the workbooks which is open. So if I click on this, it will arrange horizontally, vertically as you want. You can click on this and it will going to arrange it. Okay. So you need not, let me close this one now. I don't want it. Okay, so I'll close this one. Don't save it. Okay, and that's it. Fine, that is all about view. We have already seen the normal view and the page break view. If you want, you can also come here. You can, this is my normal view by default. This is my page break view. You can see this one. So many times you'll get files from your boss. And when you open it, you'll find this has been divided like this. And you're confused why it is like this. You have to simply go and click on normal. That's it. And you'll get the normal view. Fine. Page layout, we have already seen it. Macros we are going to see later on. There are no macros here, but those who have done IT returns, filing and all, there are lots of macros which are written on those files. So whenever you click on macros, you can always go here and view the macros which are there, or you can record the macros. We'll come to macros. That is an advanced topic altogether. Okay, so that's all related to page layout and view. Now come to, if you have any doubts, you can ask me. Any questions, guys? Anything which you want me to show it again?
No, sir.
No? Okay, thank you. Yeah, fine. So this was some small, you can say features which will help you work around with your Excel files. Now let us come to tables. Okay. Now tables are nothing but you can see in the worksheet, everything is divided into rows and columns. Your table is also divided into rows and columns, but it is a rectangular, you can see a range of data where we have rows and columns, and it is a structured data. Like in this case, I have some rows and columns here. You can see this, there are not many column headings here. And we also have rows. Each row represents one record. Okay. Now what record is this? This is my shipping data. Okay. So record number 4, which is having the order number 5071-1 is nothing but a shipping data. And it has multiple columns in it, multiple fields in it. Now, when I refer to a column, the column number E, under E, I have a column called city, and it gives you all cities which are there and which is a part of your record, each record. Okay. Now, this is not a table at all. This is not a table at all. Okay. We have just punched in some data. It is range of data. Okay. Now, along with, suppose last time, if you remember, I had this file. Which file was that? This one, right? We had inserted a table here. And as I showed you, if I enter a formula in one place and press enter, let us remove this one. Okay, if I put a formula, I say equal to, say this plus this, press enter, and what happens? The formula gets copied down throughout the rows and columns of the table. Okay, and that's a big advantage. You need not, copy or drag the formula down and so on. Okay, so there are many advantages, especially related to tables. There are many things like functions which can be used, the references, then filtering, sorting, then comes your slices, filters can be used, So let us go and see that. Let us convert this first of all, this range of data, which is starting from this row number 3. I want to select all the data and convert this into a table. Okay. So how you do it? You can position your cursor anywhere in the cell, anywhere in the table or in the range. Okay. Press Ctrl A. When I press Ctrl A, all my rows and columns are getting selected. You can see this. I'll press Ctrl A again. Okay. When I scroll up, it is not selected row number 1 and 2. Okay. And when I go across, only the last column, that is total, has got selected. When I go down, so select all the rows, you can see the last row has also been selected. Okay, so what I did, and that is around 1042 row number. So you need not, go to the first cell of that is order number, then use the shift key and, keep on selecting like this. You need not do that. Just place your cursor in one of the row or column, anywhere in the data, press Ctrl A and select the range of data, which you want to convert into a table. After you do that, click on the Insert tab here. Okay. And here you can see we have an option called table, or you can also make use of the shortcut. That is your command Ctrl T. So if you press on the keyboard Ctrl T, it will still convert this into a table. So usually you'll get a dialog window. So let us see how the dialog window looks like. So when I click on this, you see this create table dialog window comes here. Okay. It says where is the data for your table, and because we have already selected the content which I want to convert into a table, it is giving me the addresses. So this is my reference. Okay, suppose if you are not satisfied with the range, you can always go and change it here. Okay, you can also observe there are some $ in that references. Okay, and below that you have a checkbox which says my data has headers. Now this is a very interesting option, especially when you're creating your data. What usually you will find that many of you will just type in the data and forget to put the column heading. Okay. In that case, if you do not have a column heading, or you might get the data from someone, the third party will give you the data without the column heading, and you're supposed to create the column heading for yourself. Okay. So in that case, might be your data do not have the column heading. So this option can be selected, unselected, depending on whether you have a column heading or not. Okay. Now in this example, we do have a column headers. So we have this order number, order date, customer name, address, city, state, and so on. Clear? So I just click on OK after this, and it converts my table or the range which I have selected, the range of that data, into a table. As soon as it converts this into a table or creates a table, you'll find that one additional tab has got added here. So it is a table tools design tab. Okay. And it has many options here. So we'll come to this options one by one. Let us see the first option here. The first option is the name of the table. So by default, because we already had one table before, table 1, it created another table by the name table 2. I do not want this name, so I'll just change the name. I'll say orders table. Okay, and I can press enter. So the new name which I have for this given table or given range is orders table. Okay, there's someone has kept the mic on. Please keep it off. Who's this? Please keep the mic off. Saloni. Okay, I have to do it. Fine. Coming back. So what has happened is a new tab has come. I've changed the name of the table to orders table. I can, if you want, you can resize it. I don't want to resize it right now. You can remove duplicate values, convert this back into a range. Now this is a very interesting option here, convert to range. Okay. Now, in some cases, what happens, I don't want this to be a table. I feel I have done a mistake by converting this whole range of data into a table. I don't want this to be a table. Okay. I want to remove it. So what are you going to do? I'm not going to copy this data and put it in some other sheet and do that work. I'll just press Control A, select all, and convert to range back. Okay. It'll ask me, do you want to convert the table to a normal range? I'll say yes, and it'll get converted to a normal range. Here we go. Okay, some formatting still remains, like the color and all that stuff, background remains. Okay, but if you look at the menu option which we had, the additional table tool has gone now. Okay, that is how it works. So let me convert this back into a table. Click on insert table. I click on OK, and let me change this back to orders table. Fine. Now, this is how it works. Like convert to range is very important, especially because you get confused how to change it back to a normal range. Okay. Next one is pivot table will come back. Insert slicer will come back again. We can export this, nothing doing that. Okay. Now, this is an interesting one. Like I'll show you the last row when we come back here. Okay. Now, this is my last row. You can see this. There's nothing here. Now, when I click on total row, a new row gets added by the name total. Okay. And when I scroll down, scroll across the columns here, wherever we have the figures, you can see this one has got a total now. Okay. So a grand total has been added down here. Fine. If I want, I can click here, click on this drop down, and I want to find the sum. I can click sum. I'll get the sum value. So shipping cost has been calculated. The total shipping cost has been calculated. If I want to calculate the counts, so let us say I want the count function. So I want to know how many orders we had. Okay. So based on this order date, I'll come here, click on this and say count. Okay. So 1039, that many orders I have. Fine. So you can, you click on this and there are many other functions. So again, we are going to come back to this later on. Fine. If you do not want this total row, you can always click on this and it goes off. Fine. Coming up. Fine. The first column, first row, I'm not going to show you that. There are different styles available. If you are not happy with the color combination and all, you can just click on one of them and select it. Change the color combination. What's happening? Yeah, now there's some changes happening. Okay, so if you want, you can do this as well. Okay, this looks better or bad, whichever. Fine, I'll just keep this as it is. If you are not happy with this, you can always change it. You want a plain one, you can just select plain one. Okay, I'll select this one, last one. And why this colors combination is there? Because I changed the range into a table and the range already had some color formatting with it. Okay, that's the reason. Clear? Now let us see some important features. Now, in the column headings, you can see this column headings, we have got some drop down here. Okay, each of them, each button, a drop down button has been added. Now this is where you can do your filtering and sorting, okay, and even selection you can do it. So let us say I want to see only the records which is from Melbourne. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll come to this city column, click on this drop down, okay, and remove this, select only Melbourne, click on OK. I get only the records which is from Melbourne. Okay, you can see only Melbourne records are displayed to me. And then if you want, depending on again, after filtering, you can take the printout, create a report out of it. And you need not, remove the records and, give it to your boss. If the boss wants only from a particular state, let us say he wants only from a particular state. Let us see what are the different states available. There's only one VIC here. Let us say the product. If he wants to see from a particular product only. So I'll come here, okay, and remove or select all. Let us say he wants to see only this one. Or let us say two, three products. Let us say this one more. Let us select something from down here and this one, click OK. Okay, so I get only those products which you would like to see. Then you can do your analysis based on this. Okay, so there are two filters now. So the records are from only Melbourne city and for only these products. Okay, 3 products which we have selected. Okay. Plus, if you want, you can add one more filter. Let us say, let us go to the values. So I'll come here. So I want to see only values which is having shipping cost greater than 10. So what I'll do is I'll come here. Okay, I'll go to number filter option, right? And we have different options here like equals, does not equal, greater than, and so on. For me, it is greater than. So I'll click on this greater than. And what is your value? I said 10. So I can give 10.00 or you can also give only 10. I have only one condition right now. I do not have multiple conditions. So I just click on OK here. And now this is my third filter. So I'm getting only values which is above 10. Okay, so you can see this. This is my first filter which I did on the state or city which I did. Okay, second filter was on product name and the third filter was on the shipping cost. Okay, let us say if I don't want this, there are options also which are there. I can clear the filter and I get the original records back. Again, if I remove the filter from here, I can click on this, clear filter, I get all the records. And finally, from the city, I can clear the filter from city as well. Okay. Now, the second thing, the filters can be given in different ways. Let me give some more options. Let us say order total. I want to give some filters here. And because it is a number filter, I'll click here and I'll go to the custom filter. I won't go to the other options. Okay. Now here we have a dialog window which gives you the auto filter for custom auto filter. And when you click on this drop down, you'll find all the options available. So here we have all the options. Now let us say, because I'm on order total, I want greater than, say, let us say 20 or 50. Greater than